This is my studio. I call it Old Dirty Bike Shed, ODB, because it used to be just the Old Dirty Bike Shed, and now it's my studio. So this is mainly where I do all my songwriting, a lot of demoing, and then also all my management stuff because I manage the band. I also manage We Are the City, and I co-manage the Zolas, and then another guy called Titus Calderbank, who's an up-and-comer. So this is my space, kind of like multi-use recording studio and business hub. Got a pretty good vibe going here, which I dig, and this is where I conduct all my business and write all my songs. So you gotta wear a lot of hats these days. Also, it's really great because the baby monitor reaches. So when Grayson is napping, I can come out here and get some work done, and I know when he's going to wake up, which is really soon because I can hear him starting to rustle around. I was born and raised in Vancouver. Actually 3 blocks away from here is where I grew up. So I live really close to my parents, which is awesome. So I get to see them a lot, and especially since having a kid, it's nice because they get to see him and have a relationship with their grandson. You know, growing up, I was, you know, I guess I'm kind of like, in the context of this mini doc, I'm being cast as like the city boy, which is true. I'm from the city and I spent a lot of time in the city, but I also grew up surrounded by nature. My dad is a retired tugboat captain, and so he always had boats. We've got a family boat called the Jaguar that we would go on long trips every summer and go out and camp on the beach and go fish for rockfish all around like Gulf Island areas. And so that was kind of a huge part of my life growing up, was being in nature. And when I was 7, I started going to a summer camp called Evans Lake Summer Camp, and it's like a forest education kind of focused summer camp in Squamish. Ended up being a counselor and then an instructor there, so I worked there until I was about 22. So yeah, nature and, you know, the area that surrounds Vancouver has always been a huge part of my life and my influence in songwriting. And I think that, you know, anyone in Vancouver, the outdoors is kind of like woven into the fabric of who we are here. My parents are small business owners, or they were until they retired. They bought a tugboat company when I was born. So as I was growing up, they were kind of running that together. My dad was out on the boats, you know, towing gravel barges mostly, and other odd jobs. And my mom was like holding down the business. She had a home office and she was doing all the accounting and the dispatching and kind of making all like the big business decisions. So growing up around small business owners, I think has actually really been an influence on my career, because I've seen what it takes to create your own small business, which a band is, and just how much work that takes. So anyways, I've always been like really involved in the management side of things and kind of like the strategic planning side of Said the Whale. And so a few years ago I started a job working at Light Organ Records in Vancouver, and that was kind of just a natural job to be a part of, just because I had been kind of doing all that stuff for my own band for so long. And then things got crazy, and like had a kid, and Said the Whale hadn't put out another record that was As Long As Your Eyes Are Wide. So I was just like drowning in work. And so I quit that job, but I stayed on the management side with the Zolas, and then just kind of like accidentally started taking on other clients. We Are the City, who are really good friends of all of us in the band, approached me about management, and so I couldn't say no to that because I'm obsessed with that band. And then a developing artist named Titus Calderbank, who I discovered recently and started working with. Yeah, I would say like on a daily basis I am trembling from stress. I have way too much on my plate, but I also feel like I kind of thrive in that environment, and when I'm not super busy I get antsy. But doing that and having a family at home, that's tough, and I think it's probably harder on my partner Laura than it is on anyone else, because, you know, when I'm on tour, she's essentially a single mom. But, you know, we have a good friend network that's able to help out, so that's nice. Balancing it all while I'm in Vancouver is also hard, because at any given time I'm kind of tending to 4 different artists, as well as trying to, you know, carve aside time to be creative, because that's, you know, obviously Said the Whale doesn't exist without songs. So I don't know, I mean, for me, like I believe in what I'm doing so wholeheartedly that I am okay with the amount of sacrifice that I make. But definitely, you know, after Grayson was born, priorities shift a little bit. My family's obviously my #1 priority now.
Call me collect, call me anytime you need to. I'll be waiting there. If you've got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, I'll be on the line.
I'm really grateful to them for the amount of time they allow me to kind of like chase dreams, because that's sort of what it is in the music industry too. No matter what level of success you're at, you're still kind of chasing a dream, and it's all very fluid. Nothing is stable about it. So yeah, I'm grateful for that.
I will entertain